What's up, YouTube? So we're back with a brand new video, and of course this is going to be my spoiler review for the Suicide Squad directed by James Gunn. And I think this might be the 10th DCU film, I'm not too sure, but so I actually watched this movie a few weeks ago, but I've only been able to do a proper review now because I'm less busy. So basically I'm going to go straight into spoilers now, so you can just go off this video if you want, if you haven't seen the film. So basically it starts off with Amanda Waller, who sends in the Suicide Squad, which is a team of criminals and they're filled with all kinds of DC supervillains, sometimes anti-heroes, but the characters who have been in the Suicide Squad in the comics are Killer Croc, Harley Quinn, Deadshot, Rick Flag, Bronze Tiger, Captain Boomerang, Deathstroke, all sorts. But then in this film, the characters who get sent are Blackguard, DTK, Detachable Arm Kid, Harley Quinn, Captain Boomerang, Weasel, lots of people, Javelin, probably a bunch of other characters I can't remember right now. But they get sent to this island called Quarter Maltese where the army is. So they're actually being sent by Amanda Waller to infiltrate the government, find out what they're doing, blah blah blah. But then they get double crossed by Blackguard. He then gets shot in the face. So what I didn't expect from this movie was to see so many characters die, and the way they died, it felt very true to the comics and the name Suicide Squad, which is how James Gunn kept it. He kept it, relevant to his source, where they're called the Suicide Squad for a reason, where you have to see characters die, because they're on suicide missions that the normal soldiers don't do, because they have special powers, they're metahumans and everything. So basically, the death I didn't expect. Now, of course, I knew some characters were going to die, but I didn't expect certain characters to be killed off, right in the beginning, like Captain Boomerang. I expected Javelin to live longer. I wasn't surprised that Blackguard died because you hardly saw any promotions of him. So I felt like they're going to kill him off quite early in the film. And so that goes south. And then another team takes over. So Amanda Waller kind of sent, two halves, where the first half would go in first, weaken the army. The second half would come in afterwards. And pretty much, so they get sent. And this second team has Peacemaker, Bloodsport, Ratcatcher 2. Also, they're on this mission to find Rick Flag, the second team. Okay, and the characters from the first team who died first, who got killed a lot on Quarter Maltese, the survivors were Rick Flag and Harley Quinn. And Harley Quinn gets the spear off Javelin, and she has this funny moment, and it works really well for the scene, for the audience and everything. I think some of the deaths were funny, some were gruesome. I didn't expect Savant to be killed. He's a special skilled guy played by Marco Rucco, who's a friend of James Gunn, because he's such a good actor. He played Yondu in the MCU, which I didn't expect to get killed off. Pretty much in the first act, in like the first 5-10 minutes, he gets his head exploded for deserting the mission, and Amanda Waller just blows up his head. So the main reason why the Suicide Squad does what they have to do is because if they don't do it, then they get killed by Amanda Waller, who has like a remote switch based in the back of the skull. And back to the scene where I'm talking about, where you have the second team with Bloodsport, Peacemaker and everything. They're going on to find Rick Flag to free him, and so they do free him. So, but it's sort of a misunderstanding. They end up killing loads of innocent guys, and Bloodsport and Peacemaker have this banter. So, so, so on and so forth. They have to find the thinker who's played by he's played by this actor who played the Doctor Who once. So I'm having trouble remembering his name. So they have to find him because this doctor, whose name's the Thinker, this super scientist, he's part of the Colton Maltese's army's secret government plan to use Project Starro to, take over the world, or, sort of take over the government in Colton Maltese. So, so the Suicide Squad ends up having to find him, maybe kill him, yada yada, find some secrets, and pretty much when they do, they find out that there's some messed up, fucked up stuff that the US government was part of too, which is Project Starro. And in the comic books, it's basically an alien starfish with one eye, and the alien might be the size of a mountain, and he shoots spores of little tiny starfish which latch onto your face, and then it turns you into a zombie. But in this film, I think Starro's less of a big villain as he is in the comics to me, because he impacts the world, not just a town. And he was even such a big threat that Justice League had to fight him. But in this, it's just the Suicide Squad. I can go into another important character who dies. That's Rick Flag. Rick Flag from the first film, I didn't expect to die, dies. He gets killed by Peacemaker, all because Rick Flag wanted to leak out government information that Peacemaker couldn't allow that because he was on a secret double agent mission sent by Amanda Waller to get this information from a memory stick drive. And so they get into a fight, this dispute. Peacemaker fights Rick Flag, and Rick Flag just gets stabbed with something. So, but Peacemaker does get shot in the neck by Bloodsport. But then again, if you stay close to the end credit scene, Peacemaker lives on. What else? So in the third act of the film, the only characters alive, or who seem alive, are Ratcatcher 2, King Shark, Harley Quinn, and Bloodsport and Polka Dot Man. And they go up against Starro, and somehow they beat him. But it's very difficult, it seems, because Polka Dot Man sort of realizes his potential. He shoots his rainbow stuff, and it's not really rainbow stuff, but it's more circular discs, and it latches onto the starfish alien, the big one, and it sort of starts killing it. But before that happens, Starro's already taken over a whole town. So a whole town of people. These are people who don't even get rescued in the film. They just flat out get brainwashed by these starfish. And I think when Starro dies, they die. They don't come back in the film. But I say this Suicide Squad film, I know it's a sequel to the 2016 one, which didn't do too well, but I feel like it's sort of a soft reboot. How would I say this? It doesn't ignore the first film. It acknowledges it, but there's a lot of things that James Gunn got right about the comic books and about the whole premise of what the Suicide Squad is. So of course you're going to see lots of members die, but it surprised me because a lot of those members just look like anyone in the film could have been killed off. Captain Boomerang was one of them. Rick Flag was one of them. Even Polka Dot Man, who's a Batman villain, got killed off. So and Polka Dot Man ends up being killed off just because he gets squashed by Starro's big, leg. Um, yeah, so I think so. I'll just go off into characters played by actors that I know. So, of course, Amanda Waller's played by Viola Davis. So a lot of these actors are like big names, Oscar winners, like everything professional. So you've got Joel Kinnaman who plays Rick Flag. You've got Idris Elba as Bloodsport. You've got John Cena as Peacemaker. You've got Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. But I'm not sure how long she's going to keep playing this character because apparently after Birds of Prey in this film, she's not too sure. So let's see what else you've got. Yeah, that Doctor Who actor who plays the Thinker. You've got David Desmosian who plays Polka Dot Man. You've got Sylvester Stallone who does the voice of King Shark. And Sylvester Stallone jumped on this movie because he's friends with James Gunn. And the reason James Gunn jumped on to direct this movie is because he got fired by Marvel, which was a few years ago, but now he's back with them. So I think in terms of ranking this DCU film, and yeah, I'd put this up there with Zack Snyder's Snyder Cut, because DC puts a lot of big names, but they're not all successful films, like Batman v Superman, which made less than $1 billion in box office worldwide, which makes no sense because titles like that they could have made at least $1 billion. Like, who knows, if it was a really good film, they could have made maybe almost $2 billion, I think, because everyone knows who Batman is, everyone knows who Superman is. It could have been something close to perhaps Star Wars The Force Awakens or James Bond or Avatar. But back to the Suicide Squad movie, I think my favorite parts, actually let me give you details on some of the characters. So Bloodsport is part of the Suicide Squad. Bloodsport is part of this because he shot Superman with a kryptonite bullet, just like the comics. And the only downside about this information is that they don't visually show it. If they visually show stuff like this would have been a lot cooler and satisfying for the comic book fans. But as a movie, it still plays out well. Ratcatcher 2, the reason why she's called Ratcatcher 2 is because her dad was the original Ratcatcher, played by Taika Waititi. And he gets killed doing, thieving, stealing diamonds or whatever. Peacemaker, he's gonna have his own TV show, but he's like this silly patriot, how do I say, mercenary, or like top government soldier in a sort of almost Captain America like costume, which looks a little silly. He's sort of a moron, but he's more like comedy relief. Like, his way of thinking, he's super smart, but he just has moments where he's weird, like especially when Amanda Waller said starfish. He thinks starfish is butthole, which makes no sense. He thinks that, but Harley Quinn's insane. I would like to see. I was really keen on seeing the Joker, but we saw him in this Snyder Cut, so I guess we don't need him in this film, and that would have been interesting. So, I think for me, I really enjoyed this. This is definitely one of my favorite films this year, next to Godzilla vs. Kong. I think it's definitely worth watching. It's for me, I watched it in cinemas. It was out early in the UK. So in the US, it'd be out. It was out August 6th on HBO Max and everything. So, but let me just say it. Let me just go into the depths. So, it's fine if characters die, but the way they do die can be surprising. So, Mongao, right, who was this side character, but her role worked perfectly, but she was meant to be this big alien baddie who's daughter to Mongol, who's this big alien bad invader and she just gets killed off and nobody cares. Um, when Captain Boomerang dies, he gets hit by like sharp sticks that just go straight into him on the island. He almost collapses, he's on his knees and gets killed by a helicopter. And the way he gets killed is that it gives you this impression throughout the whole film that any character can die, even if it's a main character you've seen before that had a big role, they can still die. You know, like Rick Flag, I didn't expect to die, he died. I think how Amanda Waller doesn't kill um, anyone else in any of members of the team, the main team. So where you have Team 2 still left and 2 members of Team 1, like I said, were Rick Flag, Harley Quinn. They were when you see the surviving members, it's not exactly like they won straight away. It's like they crossed orders where they all could have had their heads blown off if Amanda Waller detonated the switch on them. And it's just like she just gets hit in the head, and so she lets them all off. Also Bloodsport as well, I think he had a very big role. So where Bloodsport, so the thing is, where you had Harley Quinn and Deadshot have a big connection in the first movie, Bloodsport sort of has a big connection with Ratcatcher. He has a big connection with Peacemaker, Harley Quinn. Rick Flag has a similar thing as well. There's like, it's actually just not like two characters mixing together that you really. It's like everyone in this film's good. So even seeing some characters getting killed off, it worked well for the story. But yeah, I was just wondering that in the next film, if there's a third movie, who was gonna lead the Suicide Squad, because it was Rick Flag. Who, even though they were sent by Amanda Waller, Rick Flag is like their team leader on the field, and he monitors them, you know. But pretty much, I mean, Rick Flag just gets killed off. I mean, because Rick Flag was in the first film, you see Rick Flag, the person who detonates the switch. But since Amanda Waller's back in office, she can do that and everything. So, I think which character did I like? I really liked Idris Elba in this film. His character Bloodsport actually had a daughter, and the reason why he's joined this mission is because his daughter could get jailed for a really long time, which she doesn't because Amanda Waller cuts a deal. And the reason why his daughter almost went to jail is because she did a petty crime, which was stealing. As to do with Harley Quinn, she just gets thrown back into the mess. I have no idea, because after seeing Birds of Prey, I don't want to say if she was forced into this movie. I mean, they do drop it in a nice way where Captain Boomerang's even surprised to see her, and he's played by Jai Courtney. So he's pretty surprised to see her, and yeah, I guess there's not too much to complain about in this movie, but I mean, you can perhaps tell me what you guys think as well. So I think that's all for me. I mean, I'm just gonna give this movie, like I said in the other review, 9 out of 10. So that's all for me. You can please comment, like, and subscribe, and share. And yeah, peace.
I need to feel